Hey there everyone, and today I am going to be doing a video going over ways that you can assist impatient customers effectively. I do want to give you a disclosure. I just had some dental work done. My mouth isn't in pain, but it's still numb, so I am talking different just because of that. But I wanted to address this video for you all. I got this question via my website, keepingupwithbrittany.com. One thing that I want to say is that you can't really control, you can't control at all how anyone is going to act. And you shouldn't want to. With that being said, knowing that you can't really control how patient or impatient somebody is, how respectful, how professional someone is with you, all you can do is control how you react, the expectations you set, and how you decide to move forward with your business, and pretty much with the way that you handle things. So the only thing that you really have a say over is what you tolerate and how you react. So with that being said, I'm going to go over some ways that have been effective for me. Doing credit repair, I have noticed that there are a lot of people that are impatient, but there also are people impatient working in the hair industry too, because I have people that would order hair from me. For example, they'll order hair one day and then they'll email me the next day and say, where is my hair? What time should I expect my hair today? And so even though I had the shipping time frame on the website, even though I thought that I had everything outlined right there for them to see, you have to understand that not everyone is going to read what you put out. Not everyone's going to remember what you say. Not everyone is going to even respect what your policies are. And with credit repair, there are people that have reached out and they're like, hey, I started repairing my credit with you last week. Is this collection going to be removed by Wednesday? Or I need this collection removed by Friday. And there's no guarantees in credit when you're doing credit repair that anything is going to get removed. You can definitely submit your request as to why the derogatory mark should be removed, but it doesn't happen overnight. So even if you work with any credit repair business and you say, I want this, and this removed during your consultation, you all can work towards that, but thinking that it's going to be removed the next day or within 24 hours may not be a real expectation. I know it's not for the clients that I work with. So what I've learned to do is not really focus on what I can control, but like I said, focus on what I can control. With that being said, I've learned to set my schedule with wiggle room. So during consultations, typically, like when I first opened my calendar for consultations, I would book back to back. Talking so different, I'm sorry. I would book the appointments back to back. And I didn't have an issue with it. Like, I thought that it was fine. But I've noticed that you have a better chance of being more professional and patient with people when you're not booked yourself. So what I started to do is change my schedule to fit what works good for me, and knowing that if I take clients back to back after consultations, I may feel more pressure to get done with the consultation at a specific time than if I go ahead and book like my consultations an hour apart or 30 minutes apart or however long I need to be able to recoup and rejuvenize myself and get back in it with a fresh start for the next client. So if you're dealing with people and you're like, hey, I'm so tired of dealing with people that are impatient, ask yourself how frequently you're dealing with people, because if you're dealing with people back to back, that can have a huge impact on why you're feeling like how you're feeling. Again, like I said, you can't change how people act, but you can change how it affects you, and you can change how you reply or respond. So set your schedule and give yourself wiggle room, enough time to be able to decompress and set up again for the next person that you're going to be working with, and you don't feel like you have to rush. You don't feel like you have to hurry up and spit out information. Like I said, pretty much rush. You don't feel like, you don't feel like there's too much pressure on you, because some people don't do well with pressure. Some people do great under pressure. Just, so you have to kind of figure out what works best for you. The next thing that I would do is set the right expectations. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and I gave you some examples of people that I've worked with in the hair industry, and also clients that I've worked with for credit repair. Even if you set the right expectation on your website, even if you set the right expectation in consultations, it does not mean that people are going to, number one, remember what you said, and it doesn't mean that they're going to even respect what you said. You can tell someone, hey, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to get this collection removed, especially if it's accurate. But what I can do is challenge the creditors and the credit bureaus, this way, and hit them on this point and ask for verification on this. But it's not going to be a one-day process. This is going to take some time. So you can definitely set the right expectation. But when I tell people to do that, I get some pushback sometimes of people saying what I do, and people still don't respect it. Like I said, again, you can't control what you can't control. You can't control if people are going to respect what you say or not, but you know that you did your part. So I would set the right expectation if you're dealing with impatient people. That way, if someone's coming back and they're like, hey, I just spoke with you yesterday, is my collection removed, for an example, you can let them know. You don't have to say bait like I told you yesterday. You don't have to be rude with it. You can say something along the lines of, hey, thanks for reaching out. This process is going to take longer than a day, but I can let you know that I'll keep you updated along the process. So when I send out your correspondence, I will notify you. I'll also send you the tracking information. When I get a correspondence back, I will notify you. But this is a process, so it is going to take longer than a day. And just to set the right expectation, I probably won't know anything back for 7 to 14 days. And even at that point, there's a chance that I may have not gotten a correspondence back, because I'm waiting on the collectors and I'm also waiting on the credit bureau. And I believe that sometimes they have up to 30 days to reply. Just know that it can be a process. And so you're setting the right expectation. You're letting them know. So if they don't respect it and they keep asking you, you can keep stating what you stated. Hey, thanks for reaching out. It is going to take some time. It's not an overnight process. So whether they respect it or not, you're still able to communicate. You're still setting the right expectations, so you don't feel like you have to be pressured or feel like you have to come up with different answers each day or find a creative way to reply. You can literally reply back with your expectations that you've already gone over. The next thing that I want to go over is communicate consistently. So like I just mentioned in my example, people more times than not, I've noticed, respect communication. Clear, consistent communication goes a long way. Being able to tell somebody what's going on with their services or their products. So say you're sending products out, being able to give them information. I'm not saying you have to overly give information either, but being able to provide information and updates, even before people ask, can definitely help to calm down some of the impatientness that you may experience when working with people. I look at, no matter if I'm in business or outside of business, I try to treat people how I want to be treated. And anytime that I've reached out multiple times, it's because I really didn't have confidence in either that company or in that process, or I wanted more information. So I didn't just reach out because I wanted to be annoying. So I try to look at it at that aspect when I'm working with people too. I don't believe that people just reach out to companies to irritate you. But I do believe that people reach out because they may not feel confident, or they may have questions at the end of the day, or they may not like the answer that you gave them. But at the end of the day, if you're able to consistently communicate to them and let them know what's going on, in my experience, it's worked so much better in building relationships, getting repeat clients, and being able to calm some of that anxiousness and that impatientness that you may experience as well. The next tip that I have is be accessible. Do you know how many people will reach out just to see if they can get in contact with the owner? So when I first started selling hair, there would be people that would buy in bulk from me, and they reached out. It was I think there were two friends that went into business together, and they reached out, and I asked how could I help them, and they said I just wanted to know if you were going to reply back after we ordered, because we work with a lot of different vendors, and it's hard to get vendors to reply back or answer our questions after we place orders. And at that point, I hadn't heard a whole lot of stories about vendors. I mean, I heard some. The longer I had my hair business, the longer I was able to hear a lot more of people's experiences and, you know, some of their horror stories. And a lot of people would say that they weren't able to, even with drop shipping, they were saying, I'm coming back to drop ship with you because I'm not able to get in contact with the company that I drop ship with. They don't respond back to my questions. They don't respond back to my text. And so they decided to come back because they were able to effectively communicate with me. So communication, like customer service, goes a long way. I think that sometimes people may mistake like different tools and systems for taking the place of customer service. Like if I just use this AI tool, then, or if I just use this, or if I just use that, then I know, I mean, you can use whatever you want, but I'm a firm believer that if you set your business on the right foundation, if you have good customer service, if you're pure in heart, if you work in integrity, then you'll get a lot further. Maybe not faster, but you'll get a lot further in your business, because people respect someone that is able to be accessible, not just when it's convenient for you to take the payment, but also during their process. And also keep in mind too, I know the topic of this is working with impatient people, impatient customers, but also think about this too. A lot of times we're willing to deal with people being impatient or even being rude when they're making their payment or when they're buying something. But then it's like once you get the money, I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs have a change in heart, and they're like, no, this is gonna stop. Like you gotta respect me. And it's just like, you can request respect, and you should request respect. You should be respectful. I get all of that. But let's not be the people that are willing to take the money, no matter how the customer acts, and then changes. Now we're short on our patience, and now we're quick to get upset and irritated. Let's not be those kind of business owners. Let's, treat people the same regardless. Let's treat people as if they're making their first payment today, even if they made their payment last week, or even if they haven't made their payment. Just treating people with respect regardless of what they bought or what they didn't is going to help establish that relationship too, that will also help to eliminate some of that impatience that you may be experiencing. And then the last tip is be honest and be upfront. There are a lot of people that come off as impatient because they feel like they're getting the runaround. Even when I was working in like customer service, aside from my businesses, people would call in and they would get upset because they felt like they were getting the runaround. They felt like they couldn't get a direct answer. They felt like no one really cared about their issue, that no one was really listening to them. So I may have taken it as, oh, they're impatient. They're not waiting for this case to be worked, or they're not waiting for a reply back, or hey, they just can't wait. They just want it right now. They're used to getting things their way. They're on their time. Instead of looking at it like, hey, maybe they're seeming impatient because they feel like we're not being honest. They feel like they're getting the runaround. They feel like this is not a priority to us. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, a lot of times people will come off as impatient if they feel like they can't really trust you or trust the process, or if they don't have faith in the system. So it's important to build relationships no matter what industry you're in. It's important to set the right expectations, even if you feel like they're in vain and people aren't going to respect them. You still did your part. And doing those type of things have really helped me work more effectively with people that come off as impatient. That's in the hair business, and that's also doing credit repair. So I really hope that these tips helped. Like I said before, my mouth is numb on one side, so I am not able to talk like how I typically talk. I'm not in pain though. That's a great thing, but I'm still not 100% back. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you have any other video suggestions or topics that you'd like me to go over, be sure to leave them down below. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.